Okay, Mayor, we are ready with you whenever you are. Scott, Mayor County, are you there? Oh, okay. We'll be with you momentarily.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear us all right?
Yes, we can.
All right, thanks, Kay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our City Council meeting for January 11th. We have, prior to the start of our meeting today, a proclamation that certainly is meaningful for a lot of people. Let me quickly begin by reading that. Proclamation reads as follows: according to the U.S. Cancer Statistics Working Group, in 2017, 12,831 new cervical cancer cases were diagnosed and 4,207 lives were lost from cervical cancer. And whereas the National Institute of Health reports that the 5-year survival rate of a woman diagnosed with cervical cancer is close to 66% due to improved treatment, early diagnosis, and vaccinations. And whereas cervical cancer incidence rates and death rates are still high among certain populations in the United States, according to NIH, largely due to limited access to cervical cancer screening and vaccinations. And whereas the result from a simple Pap smear test and HIV co-test can be used to help prevent cervical cancer or detect cervical cancer in its earliest and most curable stages. Now, therefore, I, the Mayor of Des Moines, on behalf of our City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2021 as Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and urge all residents of Des Moines to recognize the importance of regular testing to prevent cervical cancer. Important work, and just to remind all of our friends and family and residents, please be aware of this and get out and get a checkup, and let's prevent cervical cancer. Thank you. Our council meeting will start in about 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, we're ready for you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our January 11th, 2021 Des Moines City Council meeting. Want to welcome everybody and into the new year, and let's hope that we have a great year for our city and our citizens. We did have a proclamation earlier on the Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and it's important that we all recognize that and get our loved ones out to get a check. I will ask let's call this meeting to order, and I'm going to ask the clerk to please take roll.
County,
Here.
Boson,
Here.
Boss,
Here.
Gray,
Here.
Westergaard,
Here.
Mandelbaum,
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Your Honor, we have a quorum.
All right, I want to quickly insert a 1A into this. At this first meeting in January, I announce my recommendation for Mayor Pro Tem. And for this year, I am nominating and asking you all to support Linda Westergaard as our Mayor Pro Tem.
You need a motion, Mr. Mayor?
Well, probably not, but let's go ahead. Give us one.
Well, do you want me to move the agenda or you want me to move item I?
Item I.
I'll move item I.
All right. Please poll the council on that one, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Congratulations, Linda. Look forward to working with you this year.
Thank
We,
you.
Hope that you're going to have a interesting, good, positive year for our city. So item 2 is approving the agenda as presented and or as amended. And I will say that on the regular agenda items, 32I was amended. It's an updated roll call and council communication, and 37 was amended to add hearing is going to be continued. Go ahead.
I'll move item 2.
All right. Item has been moved. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Item passes. We'll move to item 3. Item 3 is approving the consent agenda. Tonight goes for items 3 through 29. And just as a note, these are generally routine items that are enacted by one roll call vote without separate discussion unless someone, either council or the public, requests an item to be removed to be considered separately. Item 12, council member Gatto votes no. Item 21, council member and mayor county is going to abstain on that one for perceived conflict. Item 22, council member Gray wishes to speak. And item 24, I've asked to pull that to speak for a minute.
I'll move the rest.
We need to have the following.
Okay.
Sorry, Connie.
The item has
That's
been
okay.
moved. I'll ask if the public has any items in this consent that they would like to have pulled. You'd ask if anybody wants to put your hand up.
Your Honor, there's none.
All right, thank you. Would you poll the council?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Okay, we're going to move to the items that were pulled. Item 22 is approving a Chapter 28E agreement with the City of Urbandale regarding the establishment of a joint board to support the creation of a reinvestment district for the Merle Hay Mall campus. And Council Communication number 21-12. Councilmember Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick note that we've been working on a lot of activities that seem to be working good in the Merle Hay Mall area. What many people probably don't know is that we share the mall with the City of Urbandale. And it's great to see them coming together. This doesn't involve any expenses on our part, but getting some of the things done on the Urbandale side are critical to some of the things that we're trying to get done on the Des Moines side. And this can be some real good possibilities for reinventing the Merle Hay Mall so we can keep that here in the city of Des Moines. I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. So that's why I'm going to move item 22.
All right, any other comment? Item's been moved. Please poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Item 24, I asked to have pulled. It's an application to the U.S. Department of the Treasury for Emergency Rental Assistance Program. I know that I'm going to ask the city manager to make a couple of comments and maybe an addition or two to the motion. But I want everybody to know that we are looking forward to this rental assistance to protect an awful lot of our people that are either lost a job, having trouble paying their rents, and trying to figure out ways to do it and to get the dollars to cover their rents and to the landlords so that we avoid evictions. I want you to know that I've worked diligently to try to get direct funding for cities. In the first go around in the 2020 support, they gave it to cities of 500,000 and up. And I thought that that didn't include many Iowa cities, and that we ought to get it down to a level that we ought to, and quite frankly, work pretty hard to do it with a number of other mayors. I will let you know that they have dropped that number to 200,000, and which the checks will make it be, at least the initial one to support it will be moved directly to the city. And then we hopefully can get that out and expeditiously support these people that need it so badly. So quickly with that preface, I'm going to turn it over to our city manager for comments and maybe in addition to the motion.
Thank you, Mayor. So yeah, Scott Sanders, city manager here. We have an opportunity in front of us with these federal funds coming through the Treasury Department, for which the all the rules are still being established, but we have a pretty good feel for what they're looking at. There is an application process that's required that would need to be submitted by tomorrow. And so we intend to do that with this action. As we have learned more information over the weekend, there are several other programs operating within our metro area to assist our households that are in need, much to the mayor has alluded. And we want to make sure that we can utilize these funds in an expeditious way and continue assisting our residents. So there are a couple items I would like council to consider that are up on the screen right now to include within the motion, if you would, to again further expedite these funds. You'll see item number 1 is putting $100,000 of these funds immediately into the eviction prevention program. you may be familiar with that program, is held at the courthouse when we have our residents literally walking in to address eviction notices in the court system. And so this is the very last step for them being evicted. We have a program in place and has been for several months with partners over at Polk County and some legal assistance, legal aid, I believe, for which they're able to halt that eviction process right there at the courthouse. And they could use some of this additional funding to make sure that as a last opportunity, we're able to keep our residents in their housing. So we would ask that that be included in the motion. Secondly, there's an opportunity to make sure that we get these funds up and moving quickly with our vendor Impact by making sure we allocate some of our remaining funds that are allowed. There's a 10% allowance you'll see under 2A here to be able to use those funds immediately. And as we're working through the legal documents, they can get the program up and going for us, which will be very similar to our previous program. So we have every confidence that we'll be able to get that up and going, but would like the council to authorize the ability to advance those funds into the program. At this point, Mayor, if it's okay, I would like to ask Chris Johansson if I have missed anything, as he has been working through this over the weekend, Friday and over the weekend, and today with some of the officials on this. Chris, are you noticing anything that would need to be included beyond that? If you're able to pull him up. Okay.
Yeah, Scott, Chris
I
Johansson.
have.
Chris Johansson, Neighborhood Services Director. Scott, I think you covered it all very well. I think a couple other points just to make with this, the criteria for eligible households is that they're qualified for unemployment or has experienced reduction in household income or incurred significant costs or experienced a financial hardship due to COVID. Demonstrates a risk of experiencing homelessness or housing instability. That category right there is really what number one is about. Those that are facing eviction, these funds would be very helpful. And the last one is just the household income is at or below 80%. So I think with advancing these funds, we're able to get these out on the street as fast as we can. The last thing I would add is we do anticipate pretty quick turnaround time on getting these funds. We're hope to receive them by January 22nd, which is the end of next week.
Thanks, Chris. I see Linda's hand up. Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to extend to Scott and to city staff how pleased I am that $100,000 is going to go to the Justice Center. I think it should be noted that Eric Burmeister over at Polk County Housing Trust Fund and others have spent a lot of time there at the courthouse helping people with the evictions. And we should be so grateful to them that they have been there and that they continue to be there. And these funds are badly needed. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Linda. Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. I serve on the Impact Board of Directors, and it's pretty nice to be sitting there when the city is allocating money to help these people that are in real need. And we make a great impact at Impact. And so if someone else wants to move forward, I'd like to move item 24 when the time comes.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Anybody else want to make comment? Mr. Attorney, as we do it, should we say that his motion includes item 24 with amendment 1A and 2A and B?
That would be satisfactory.
All right, Bill, I'm assuming your motion is to include 24 with the added paragraph 1A, and 2A and B.
That is correct, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Please poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Great. To everyone sitting in, that ends our consent agenda. We've got a few minutes, so we're going to move on to our ordinances. First consideration, item 30 is amending chapter 114 of the municipal code regarding traffic regulation changes as follows. This came under council communication number 21-001. A, code change related to the East Grand Avenue resurfacing project. East Grand Avenue from the Des Moines River to Pennsylvania Avenue. Pennsylvania Avenue from East Grand Avenue to Des Moines Street, and East 6th Street from East Grand Avenue to Des Moines Street. B, parking restriction revisions Southwest 6th Street, south of Cherry Street. Any comment, council?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move item 30A and B and waive the second and third reading if there isn't any comment.
All right. Item's been moved. Any other comments, council? All right, let's poll the council on that one.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. That brings us to our communications reports and request to speak from the public. And for those persons wishing to speak this evening under the public speaking item on the agenda, we'll only be calling on those who have registered to speak. Because of the number of speakers this evening, each speaker is going to receive 98 seconds to make their comments. So please keep your own time, because at the end of 98 seconds, the clerk will announce time and the speaker's mic will be closed, and we will move immediately to the next speaker. I'm going to call our first speaker this evening, Devon Severson.
Hi, my name is Devin Severson. I reside in Ward 3 and I'm represented by Josh Mandelbaum. I'd like to offer my remarks in support of the resolution for the 100% clean energy by 2030 in Des Moines. As a taxpayer and lifelong Iowa resident, I'm very grateful to see so many council members in support of this resolution, and I would urge any members who may be on the fence to offer their support. This resolution gives the city an opportunity to collaborate directly with Mid-American Energy to ensure that we both work toward a greener future and contribute to the economic well-being of our city. I'm originally from Ottumwa, Iowa, and grew up about a mile away from a coal-fired power plant, which as an adult, I'm realizing is very daunting when I think about my future and the health issues that it may cause me. Burning coal puts Iowans like me, who have had to grow up next to it, at greater risk of cancer, lung disease, and early death. It's obscene that Mid-American continues to burn coal after knowing for almost 40 years that it's a leading cause of climate change. As someone who's now made Des Moines my home, I want to see our leaders make a commitment to protect us from unnecessary risks to our health and environment. Along with the detriments to human health, coal-fired power is unnecessarily costing taxpayers millions of extra dollars. Mid-American's own reports show that transitioning from coal to green energy will lead to significant savings for customers and the company alike. This measure does not have the potential to lead to an increase in utilities payments, as those have to be improved through the Iowa Utilities Board, but it does have the potential to save the taxpayer a significant amount of money on their utility costs. For the sake of our livelihoods, both physical and financial, I urge all of you to support the green energy resolution. And I yield the rest of my time.
All right, Alex Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Alec Johnson. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I use he, him pronouns. I'm proud to live in Councilmember Mandelbaum's Ward 3. I want to commend you for considering the 100% 24/7 renewable energy resolution, and I hope you pass it. It is just and fitting and comports with the fiduciary responsibility you have over public trust assets like our climate. As one of their customers, I'm encouraged to see Mid-American partnering with the city of Des Moines to make the transition to 100% carbon-free electricity. It's not only the most responsible choice, it also makes great business sense. Data Mid-American possesses indicate that customers could save $92 million by retiring the George Neal North and South coal plants by 2023. Bloomberg reports that the transition to renewable energy is effectively self-financing. Beyond the vital climate considerations many have brought before this council is the fact that coal is not nearly the endless resource it's trumped up to be. Coal is not homogeneous. There are many different types that each have different energy contents per weight, also known as heating value. Anthracite has the highest heating value, but the U.S. has mined virtually all we ever had. Bituminous coal ranks second, followed by subbituminous, and then there's the least energy-rich lignite. What we've witnessed in this country is the steady depletion of high-energy coal and increased reliance on coal with lower and lower heating values. This means more energy has to be invested to retrieve less and less energy from the coal produced. It is a losing battle and a battle not worth waging any longer. It makes no sense economically and even less when the profound impact burning coal has on global warming is considered. In closing, I hope that upon passage of the 100% renewable energy resolution, Mid-American rapidly commits to retiring all of their coal-fired plants. Its customers and its investors have everything to gain from such a prudent move. I yield back all my time. Thank you.
Maxwell Enos.
Max.
Oh, sorry. I had myself muted. Can everyone hear me now?
Thanks, Max.
I'm Max Ennis. I live in Councilman Mandelbaum's ward. I'm here to talk about zoning because while the movement on the clean energy resolution is laudable, I think that Des Moines' action on climate change needs to look a lot more at land use as well. Currently, Des Moines has 31 zones, which equals about 7,000 people per zone. This is an extreme excess of zoning that we have. It divides up single use family housing districts into multiple sub zones. And I think that this is really starting to hurt Des Moines' capacity to become a carbon neutral city. Time and time again, we've seen that higher density development can lead to lower uses of carbon heavy technologies like automobiles and things like heating and cooling because people are living closer to other apartment units that are, using the same heating and cooling sources. Furthermore, redevelopment in higher density, a redevelopment would allow for green technologies like geothermal heating and cooling to be more widely implemented in Des Moines. A majority of Des Moines' land is currently in single family housing. We need to start.
Time. Thank you, Max.
Adam Callahan. Can you unmute yourself, Adam?
Sorry, I muted myself and I got remuted. Anyway, my name is Adam Callahan and I use he, him pronouns. A lot of my friends are currently preparing to defend themselves against the rising white supremacist violence that the city has done nothing to stop. Nothing on this agenda addresses the white supremacist attack that we saw last week. This violence is not new and it has tracks here in Iowa. In 2016, a white supremacist killed 2 Iowa cops in ambush attacks. Breasia Terrell has been missing for 6 months. Months ago, a black man was lynched in Grinnell. Weeks ago at a Trump rally at the Iowa Capitol here in Des Moines, a Trump supporter shot a teenage girl. And all last year, we watched as the city ignored and facilitated racial violence against constituents from police and local white supremacists. At the first major protest I ever attended, one that was even permitted by city staff, I was shocked to see that police arrived in full riot gear. With no reason given, they attacked our group, including black children, with tear gas and flashbangs. I was horrified and confused, and I didn't know, and I still don't know, the reason that the MPD actually initiated that attack. They didn't say then, and the city never really asked or looked into it. As the space cleared after the initial attack, I was still trying to understand what was happening as the flashbangs continued to fly by me, and I watched a car approach the police line as they were pushing us away and we were leaving. The police didn't stop the car, though. They actually moved over and waved the car through directly towards the crowd. And these attacks happened all throughout summer. We knew these people were dangerous. And actually, some of these people, one of these people at least, was in the news last week because they actually went on to attack the DC Capitol. And we see now what happens with white supremacists and fascists that are allowed to do what they want. Attacks are being planned openly by white supremacists in all 50 state capitals around the inauguration right now. And I call on anyone from the public listening to please talk to your community about defense and how white supremacy is a clear exercise.
Thank you, Adam. It was time.
James Grimm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I'll just come right out and say it. Dana Winger is a white supremacist. He's a Trump supporter. We all know what Trump supporters are now. It's out in the open. And I see Des Moines police officers going around wearing Trump wristbands, which are, those are white supremacist dog whistles. There's no other way to say it. And the violence, that occurred against women during the protests. I mean, there's videos and people witnessed Des Moines police officers ganging up on women who were complying, who were walking in their cars, things like that, ganging up on women and beating them with clubs. And then Paul Parisi goes on his radio and says, all the use of force there was appropriate. And then bootlicker Brenda McDonald comes on and says something about, them people need to know that if you don't do what police tell you, things happen. Well, why don't we release those videos, the body camera videos, so people can see what type of things happen? The public needs to know this stuff. This cannot be hidden anymore. We're done. This needs to be out in the open. The Des Moines Police Department cannot hide anymore. They're going to be exposed. It's time for them to be exposed. The white supremacists in that department and the violent thugs, they need to go. Thank you.
H.E. Menke.
KT, are you on a phone? If you are, hit *9 to raise your hand. She does not appear to be here, Your Honor.
How? Move on to Debbie Howell.
If you're on a phone, hit *9 to raise your hand. And if you want to unmute, you hit *6.
Let's move on to Hallie Howman.
Holly, you're unmuted or you're allowed to talk.
Hallie, can you unmute yourself?
Oh, I gotta go. No. Okay, we're having a hard time allowing Holly to talk, but it looks like Deb is here now. if
All
we
right.
want to go back to her.
Yeah, let's go back to Deb and Deb, can you unmute your, there you go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm sorry. I was pushing the numbers. It wasn't working though. First of all, congratulations, Linda, for the appointment to Major Pro Tem. Good afternoon, everyone. I was going to speak about the school resource officers, but I understand that is something that goes with the school board. After that last call, I'm beside myself on what I actually want to say. First of all, I hope that we do bring all the films out for the Des Moines Police Department. I am sick of our police department getting bashed right and left. I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the fact that our police department took a knee several times for these groups. And then I turned around and hear on their own, whatever, saying, F the police, we got them now. Let's start getting along, people. We had 3 more teenagers killed die last night, and have had an amazing, I'm sorry, I am really upset. We have had way too many teenagers die this year. This isn't the police's fault. This isn't the city council's fault. These children are taking wrong paths. We need to remember that. Actions have consequences. So let's have some positive action so we have positive endings.
Time. Thank you, Deb.
All right. We need to break away from this, and then we'll come back and try to get Holly back on. But we need to now move to our hearings. Clerk, note that it's 5:02. In our first hearing item, I want everybody to know that for the hearings this evening, we have several zoning items consisting of numbers 33 to 35. And we also have a vacation hearing and some other hearing items. As a reminder, for the zoning items only, which are items 33 to 35, we will hear from the parties in interest first, and then the general public. So the parties in interest are only the applicant themselves and those living within 250 feet of the property to be zoned, to whom the city has sent notices. All the other parties in interest, and after they have commented, we will then open it up to any member of the public for germane comments to that item. And to aid the city clerk in calling on the parties in interest, I will ask everyone else to not raise their hand on the Zoom call unless they are the zoning applicant or live within that 250 feet and receive that mailed notice. Anyone who raises their hand before it is their time are going to be considered, and not on that list, will be considered disruptive, and we will not recognize them for the remainder of the meeting. So please wait until I call on general public for the zoning items, or you will not be called on for the remainder of the meeting. For those members of the general public who wait to raise their hands, they will be called on for up to 7 minutes of germane comment to that item at 1 minute per person after the parties in interest. For the other hearings that are not zoning hearings, the public may raise their hands immediately upon me reading the item for comments that are germane to the item only. For item 39, which is a bond hearing, which is being had only to provide funding for limited purposes within the downtown urban renewal area. Objections will be received electronically on that item upon registration, and the public will be called on for up to 10 minutes of germane public comment on objections to the sale of the bonds at not to exceed 1 minute per person. For the remainder of the hearings this evening, any interested person may make germane comments at not to exceed 1 minute per person to a maximum of 5 minutes per hearing. As a reminder, on the construction hearing, only comments as to the plans, the specifications, the form of the documents, and the engineer's estimate and low bidder designation will be considered germane. For the lease, concession, and vacation hearings, only comments related to the proposal for that particular property will be considered germane. So, clerk, let's go ahead and get started with item 33, which is on a request from Angel Groff, who is the owner, to amend the planned DSM future land use classification from low density residential to community mixed use and to rezone property at 2200 Easton Boulevard from N3A neighborhood district to MX3 mixed use district to allow the existing vacant commercial building and site to be reused for a vehicle maintenance repair, minor use, and vehicle sale use. Plan and Zoning Commission recommends denial on this one. Let's go ahead and open up. Is any council members want to make a quick comment on this?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make my comments after we hear from the public.
All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and open up for parties in interest. Again, that's the applicant first and those within 250 feet of the notice. Is the applicant on? If so, please raise your hand. I do not see the applicant. Any of the parties in interest, anybody live within 250 feet of this rezoning request? All right. Seeing none, I'll ask the general public. Anybody want to make comments? All right, I see a hand up. Again, 1 minute per person. Germane comments to this item, and it looks like Vanessa.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thanks for the constant reminder about the time limit and germane requirements. I just wanted to pop in and make sure that Debbie Howell knows that her comments these past weeks have been racist, and we see how the council allows her extra time to get onto these meetings. So Debbie, we're tired of your racist comments, and we're not going away, and you'll continue to hear feedback on the Des Moines Police Department.
Anyone else? All right, I don't see any. Linda, would you go ahead and
yes, I'd like to go ahead and move item 33, and I would like to move alternative A, which is to deny the proposed amendment, which would follow the guidelines of the Plan and Zoning Commission.
All right, the motion essentially is to deny.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Item 34, it's on a request from Antonio Dominguez and Gabriela Herrera, who are the owners, to amend the plan DSM future land use classification from industrial to low density residential and rezone 301 Southeast 28th Street from I-1 Industrial District to N3C Neighborhood District to allow the existing household living use to be extended with addition of a new accessory 2-story detached garage use. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommends denial on this one. Again, any council members want to make a quick comment here? If not, we'll move to parties in interest. All right, is the applicant on? Any parties living within the 250 feet area who have received notice? All right, let's open it up and see if there's any parties. Seeing none of those parties in interest, let's open it up to the general public. Anybody from the general public want to speak regarding this request to amend the zoning? All right, seeing none, council?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just a quick question for staff. You know, it does give me a little bit of heartburn to deny somebody that wants to better their property, and it was always zoned, you know, for residential use. But since we have a new zoning map, they can't do that. So a question for staff is, if this is denied, is there another option of going to the Board of Adjustment at that point to be able to build this 2-story detached garage, or is it just off the table at that point?
I believe they could probably do a use variance, but I'll refer to the manager and to zoning people.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that.
I see Mike Ludwig. Mike, you want to make a comment here?
Yes, Mayor, County, members of the council, Michael Ludwig, Deputy Director of Development Services Department. You are correct, Mayor, County, they could seek a use variance from the Board of Adjustment if the zoning is denied this evening.
So Mike, at the time of the planning and zoning, and I'm not sure if you still do that, is that why the recommendation is denial, to have them go to the Board of Adjustment, or you just want them to move and not increase the value of their property?
Well, we outlined that the option was for them, if the zoning was denied, to go to the Board of Adjustment. The Planning Commission held their hearing and heard arguments for whether to rezone it or not, and ultimately recommended denial. The decision ultimately is up to the City Council, but if the council wants to override the Planning Commission's recommendation, it'll take a 6/7 vote.
Okay. I'll move item 34 to deny.
All right, item 34 to deny has been moved. Poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson. Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 35, which is on a request from Sitwell LLC. Daniel Kelly is the officer to review and approval of a PUD final development plan, the Village at Grays Lake, Lot 6, on property located at 2688 Southwest 23rd Street, to allow the reuse of a former classroom building for commercial office space. Council, anybody want to make comment, or we'll open it up to the parties in interest? All right, seeing none, let's see if there's any party in interest, either the applicant. Daniel, are you on? Any other parties in interest, those within 250 feet who have been given notice? Seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up to the general public. Any comments from the general public? We ask you to put your hand up at this time. Okay, I don't see any. Do you?
No, I do not.
All right, let's go ahead and come back to council. Do we have a motion? Again?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll move item 35.
Item 35 has been moved. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Moved to item 36, which is on a vacation of a portion of an alley right-of-way, Garber Street and Southeast 16th Street right-of-way located north of East Railroad Avenue, and a conveyance of said vacated right-of-way and the intervening excess city property to Mid-American Energy Company for $135,500. Council communication number 21-002. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waiver is requested by Jamie Baker, manager, right-of-way services, and requires 6 votes. Again, let's open it up. And to any germane comments from the general public, again, 1 minute each, up to 5 minutes maximum. Does anybody need to speak on this vacated property right away?
Mr. Mayor, if no one's going to speak, I'll move 36 A and B, sir.
All right, 36 A and B have been moved. Poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Whoops, yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 37, on a lease of a portion of vacated East Market Street between Southeast 14th Street and Southeast 18th Street to Des Moines Industrial LLC for $12,500. Let's open up for any germane comments from the general public.
Did you say continuance, Your Honor?
Continuance, Your Honor, so there'd be no public comment on that.
All right.
Public comment would be received at the following meeting.
Yep. All right, public comments would be received following the meeting. This is actually, as I read early, to amend it, a hearing to be continued.
I'll move item 37 for the continuance, Your Honor.
Okay. Poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 38 is on the second amendment of the concession agreement for the Birdland Marina concession with Less Than Trinity LLC doing business as Captain Roy's. Council communication number 21-006. Let's go ahead and open this to the general public for germane comments. 1 minute again per person, 5 minutes maximum. Anybody want to speak regarding Captain Roy's?
Mr. Mayor, if there's no one to speak, I would like to move item 38 And I don't believe we have to have a second or third reading.
No, we
It doesn't look like it.
Either. Yep, I agree.
So I would move item 38.
All right, item 38 has been moved. Please poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
And item 39 on the authorization of a loan agreement and issuance of not to exceed $47 million general obligation urban renewal capital loan notes 2021B for an essential corporate purpose, council communication number 21-016, and A under that is an authorization for additional action. Again, we'll open it up for any germane comments from the general public. Up to 1 minute per person to speak and 10 minutes maximum. Let's start with Luke.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Great. So yeah, it always gives me a little bit of pause when I see $47 million being allotted for what appears to be purchasing back a parking garage for the city to use, mainly concerned about whether that parking is going to be free on weeknights and weekends, because I know right now parking accessibility is not great in downtown Des Moines for people that live down there and folks that work down there. A quick proposal on how you could fund this, and that would be by completely defunding the Des Moines Police Department. You've got your budget planning coming up here in the next couple months, and currently the police department's protecting and promoting racist officers like Kyle Tice, Ryan Steinkamp, Brian Minahan, Greg Wessels, many others.
It's not germane. Thank you.
It is germane.
No, it's not. Adam?
Hello, my name is Adam Callanan. I use he, him pronouns. Yeah, I have some concern here, some of the same things that Luke brought up. This is a lot of money, especially during a pandemic. I know we just gave $100,000 to rent relief, basically, and which is great, but in the same time, we're giving $100,000 to help people keep people in their homes. We're giving $47 million for parking structure. And right now, downtown, it's not quite a ghost town, but it's pretty empty with the pandemic. I don't know why we're paying $47 million for more parking. Just because some developers failed to pay for the cost for a project. I don't see why that falls in the city. I'm not sure who ends up with the $47 million. This is honestly a bit over my head, but I know that it's not the taxpayer or anybody in the public that ends up with this money. And also I know that this project involves one of the relatives of Josh Mandelbaum. This all just feels very weird. Yeah, and I don't think it's a good idea.
Jalen?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I wanted to speak on item number 39 and let y'all know that I do oppose this purchase. Like others spoke previously before me, $47 million is a very hefty price to pay. Considering that the Mandelbaum brothers defaulted on this parking garage, I don't think that they should have, I guess, been in this investment in the first place. I don't really know why the onus is on us, the taxpayers of the city of Des Moines, to help cover up or clean up the mess that the Mandelbaum brothers made. And I do want to highlight, yes, this is a parking garage that is being financed or was trying to be developed by Josh Mandelbaum's relatives. So I do see that as a conflict of interest, not only for Mandelbaum to vote on this, but for every council member to vote on this. I don't think that that is right. I think that y'all do have a conflict of interest in this. I also want to again highlight the point that $47 million is so much. Maybe spend a few of these $1 million on rental assistance and helping stop people from being evicted, because $100,000 really isn't a lot. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Des Moines BLM rental
Time. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick comment, and I can make a motion. You know, I think that we all are frustrated about how this project went and aren't happy about it. I know some of us were here at the very beginning, some of us weren't. I think that we need to look at our policy going forward, and I think that would be part of my motion to direct the city manager to look at other developers that have either defaulted or unable to finish out their development agreement. I think that they should be not be allowed to do any other economic incentive, whether that be TIF or anything else that we offer for the next 10 years on any other projects that they're looking for relief on. I know that we spent hours and hours of staff time putting together this deal. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out the way that the developer thought it was going to work out. But just in general, not just for this project, but Scott, if you can come up with a proposal of something like that, that we should not be incentivizing developers that have either defaulted or unable to finish out their development agreement. And with that, I will move 39 and 39A.
Carl, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mayor County. Are we, do we have our backs against the wall that we need to approve this evening?
Yes, Council, this is Scott Sanders, City Manager. The timing is critical as there are additional steps that need to be taken.
Oh, man, I hate to hear that. You know, I just don't feel comfortable that I know enough about this topic and how we got here.
Somebody has to pay the contractor for building a structure that's going to be used by City of Des Moines, Councilmember Voss. Unfortunately, it falls on us as the entity that the taxpayers is going to have to step in and do something like that.
Man,
Carl, I just want to remind everybody that we have some litigation ongoing here.
Yep.
And it probably, I don't know how far into this, but there are, as has been pointed out, some obligations and contractors and bank commitments that have to be covered. This is, you know, right in the middle of the downtown, as was pointed out, and a structure that needs to be put in place for Polk County and for the downtown. And I think that we're trying to work out all the detail of how that can happen, but I think we have to be very careful here with a project that unfortunately is in litigation.
And for a point of clarification, Mr. Mayor and Carl, you know, the development agreement for this project predates my time on the council and your time on the council. And I want to just clarify for the public that I have, since I've been on the council, abstained from every vote related to this project and plan on abstaining again tonight.
Thank you, Josh. All right, I think we have a motion on the table. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
no.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Abstain.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 5 yes. Motion carries.
Okay. For the public, it was 5 yes, 1 abstain, and 1 no.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, takes us to 40 on Southwest 5th Street Railroad Crossing improvements. A resolution approving the plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Minturn Inc. Clinton M. Rhodes, President, $99,630. Council Communication number 21-019. A is approving the contract and bond and permission to sublet. We'll ask the general public if they have any comments on the proposed plans, specifications, contract, or estimated public improvements. And those comments only germane to that, we'll give everybody 1 minute to speak in 5 minutes maximum. Is there anybody who would like to speak on this railroad crossing?
Seeing none, Mr. Mayor, I'll move item 40 and 40A.
Right, item 40 and 40A have been moved. Poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries. Oh, Mandelbaum, sorry, Mandelbaum.
Yes.
Thanks for the motion, Josh. All right, let's note it's 5:31, and that brings our hearings to a close. Let's go back to item 31, and let's see if Holly is available. Holly, I see your hand up. Can you unmute yourself?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hello. I'm Holly Hallman. I'm just going to start from the top again. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Ward 3 and I'm represented by Josh Mandelbaum. I am here to urge all council members to support the 100% 24/7 renewable energy resolution. I now call Des Moines home, but I've lived in Iowa my whole life. I would love for our state to be a leading example of how you transition to 100% carbon-free electricity. We already are one of the nation's top producers in wind energy, which is something to be proud of, but we need to step up and commit to 100% renewable energy in order to properly address climate change. To begin, we must stop burning fossil fuels and demand that Mid-Americans shut down their coal-burning plants. Thanks to advances in technology, wind and solar are now the cheapest options for providing electricity, much cheaper than fossil fuel plants. Mid-American's own report shows that transitioning from coal to green energy will save money for customers and the company. With money being a determining factor in many decisions, I find this very encouraging. I do fear that if we don't act now on this resolution, we will be too late. Climate change is real and happening faster than scientists had originally predicted. Some say we have less than 10 years to drastically lower our carbon emissions before we cause irreversible damage. It has already impacted Iowa with droughts, floods, and extreme storms, such as this summer's derecho. With agriculture being the backbone of Iowa, we simply cannot afford unpredictable weather patterns to become the new norm. So climate change is without a doubt the biggest challenge in our lifetime, and it will require large-scale action. As an individual, I do my part to live as sustainably as possible, but due to the fact that I cannot choose my utility provider.
Time. Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to Brenda McDonald. Brenda? I see a hand up. That may be Brenda.
Yeah, just a moment. Okay, Brenda.
Open, Brenda.
Good afternoon, council members. A horrific tragedy occurred in Minneapolis. A life was taken by an officer, but our Des Moines PD men and women are not Derek Chauvin. He killed someone. No one from the Des Moines PD killed anyone. Some people, from politicians to the media and to activists, are shaming police officers, all police officers. They have been shaming the profession into embarrassment. Police officers are more likely to be treated like animals or thugs than ever before. Preliminary numbers for 2020 have the Des Moines PD had 195,000 plus calls for service. Of those, 10,000 plus were for domestic disputes, 14,000 reports of gunfire, 200 plus of those confirmed shooting incidents, and 21 homicides with 19 solved. That puts us at 90% when the national average is roughly 60% annually. 1% resulted in the Des Moines PD using force, and that bears repeating, only 1%. That in itself is a statistic that we can be proud to live amongst. We ask so much from our men and women in the Des Moines PD daily, and in the past year, we've asked even more as the risk for life has increased significantly.
Let's move on to Molly Arndt. Can you unmute yourself, Molly? There you go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Molly Arndt from Ward 1. My pronouns are they or she. And I would like to speak today about the increasingly open acts of violence by white supremacists and how the Des Moines City Council needs to stop being complicit in this violence and instead take steps to hold themselves and their constituents accountable. Speakers like Deb and Brenda show how important it is for the council to take anti-fascist and anti-white supremacist action. By not condemning the racist dog whistles and lies of white supremacists like Deb and Brenda and ignoring the violent actions of Des Moines police officers, you are making your own racism very clear, and the people of Des Moines will continue to hold you accountable every chance we get. The entire concept of policing and the police is inherently fascist, but the Des Moines Police Department is particularly heinous, even within the context of the institution itself. By continuing to fund DMPD, you are all encouraging violence. All of this, plus the unwillingness to address the rampant COVID spread and rising climate catastrophes, make Des Moines an incredibly dangerous place to live. If you are not actively opposing fascism and white supremacist, you are a fascist and a white supremacist. The council needs to begin to take accountability for the harm it has enabled and defund DMPD immediately. This accountability could look like financial reparations to BIPOC people and everyone who has experienced police brutality, free housing for houseless folks, widespread food, utilities assistance, investment in infrastructure and clean energy, direct payments for COVID assistance, and cutting ties with corporations. As elected officials, you have the power to tangibly improve the lives of the people you are elected to represent. Please denounce fascism.
Matthew Pierce.
Matthew, I believe you use a phone and you have to hit *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. He may not be on, Your Honor. He did tell me he would be late, so we could go on to the others and circle back if he's on by that time.
Let's move on to David Karohari. David, are you on? There you are.
Yes, hi. I'm David Crowd-Howery. I live at 1112 29th Street in Des Moines, and I teach environmental science and sustainability at Drake University. I'd like to thank the council for considering the 100% 24/7 clean energy proposal. I'm strongly in favor of the proposal with the caveat that I think the council should consider moving the date of 24/7 clean energy ahead from 2035 to 2030, as I think that schedule is ambitious but highly doable. What we found in the sustainability field is that costs for goals such as this tend to be much lower than originally anticipated, as technology has consistently moved far ahead of where we think it's going to be. An ambitious goal will drive local innovation, create significant opportunities in a rapidly growing and critical field, as well as lead to large improvements in health and environmental outcomes, because burning coal is dangerous, expensive, environmentally ruinous, and obsolete. We're currently suffering significant damages from both climate change and coal burning, and we absolutely need to lead on this issue. This measure is a benefit to residents and has the potential to make Des Moines even more attractive to potential new residents and businesses. I thank you for your time.
Right, is Sherry Hawk.
Yes, my name is Sherry Hawk. I live in Ankeny, but I have been a Mid-American customer or its precursor, Iowa Power, for over 50 years. And I know Mid-American can afford making this transition to 24/7 carbon-free electricity. They said it would cost $8 billion to build out renewable energy sources and batteries to get Des Moines to 24/7 carbon-free electricity. But last year, they made nearly $1 billion in profits from charging Iowa residents for their electricity. If they start investing their profits into the transition, we could get there in a decade, as David just mentioned. And once the transition is made, it will pay for itself with lower costs. I was glad in the resolution to see the duration mentioned, because events like that have a direct impact on Mid-American being able to provide us for nonstop continuous services. And so many of us lost electricity for several days during that event. Unnecessary. I am impressed with this resolution and all the factors it addresses. Of course, it would be better to see 2030 as a goal date, but this is a great start toward setting a goal of 100% 24/7 electricity for only carbon-free sources, and expecting the same of Mid-American in any future negotiation. I look forward to sharing your efforts and this resolution with the Ankeny City Council. Thanks.
Your Honor, KT Minke is on now. She was letter F.
Let's switch over to KT.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. With all that's happened the past week, I'd like to come on here to urge you to please create the time to invest into your communities. Invest in places like the Supply Hive, the Des Moines Mutual Aid, Edna Griffin Mutual Aid, the Des Moines BLM, Sweet Tooth Fridge. Invest in the community that you're a ward for. Spend time knowing the people and the needs for the people that you're in the ward for. Create time getting to know the people and what they are asking for. Do things like what Jalen Cavill, Matt Bruce, LaShawn, Jaleisha, and Jazzy Johnson, Linda Brown, and many more have been doing. Take the time and invest. I'm asking that you please consider defunding the Des Moines Police and stop the pausing and stop the loopholes. Stop what has been causing the problems, that have been causing the trauma that the rest of us that have been facing this past summer and the many times the years before as well. Thank you. I yield my time.
All right, that completes item 31. Could we have a motion to receive and file the speaker's comments?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Would ask any dissent to speak now. All right, item passes unanimously. Let's move on to item 32. This is approving establishing a new greenhouse gas emissions reduction goals and a community 24/7 carbon-free electricity goal for the city of Des Moines. I would like to make a quick comment here. You know, we've seen time and time again how local governments have the burden of dealing with these extreme and more frequent events caused by weather and climate change. You know, we need to play a bigger role in sustainability, mitigation, and adaptation. I believe that this greenhouse gas emission reduction goals is a huge step in that direction. Des Moines has been a leader for years in efforts, but every step we take is important and signals the rest of Iowa and the rest of the nation that we're still in. So thanks to our council members, to our staff, the city manager, Jeremy, Karen, and Jim Hoff, our Community Development Department, our Parks Department, our Public Works, and most important, and one of our most important partners here is Forestry, for assisting and putting together all of our plans to keep Des Moines at the front of these efforts. And I will Mr. Manager, do you want to make a couple of comments here?
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quickly, I would also like to echo all the work that went into this with the different community presentations and comments that we've also gathered. Clearly, this is something our public wants the council to approve. So thank you to all the staff and the community partners that have assisted in this.
All right. Josh, I see your hand up. Would you like to make a quick comment, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And I wanted to just add on and start by thanking you for all your efforts to lead on climate. I know you've been working on this for a number of years, and we're building on the foundation that your efforts and the efforts of city staff and councils before us have laid. And I wanted to also thank the city staff who've done a tremendous amount of work to help finalize this resolution and get it prepared for tonight. There's a lot of work that went into it. And perhaps most importantly, I want to thank the members of the public who have been advocating on this and encouraging us to take stronger climate action. We've heard from a lot of constituents and stakeholders, environmental groups, business groups, all urging us to take stronger climate action. And this resolution is a really important step in that direction. We're accomplishing a couple really important things with this action tonight. One is we're building on the mayor's previous commitment to the Paris Climate Accord and taking another step forward based on best available information and creating emission reduction goals that are in line with the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, their most recent report in terms of what we need to do to effectively limit climate change. And we're aligning our goals with the parameters in that report. So that's an important piece of this. The other piece is the 24/7, 100% carbon-free electricity standard. And that is something that we can do in part because our utility, Mid-American, is invested in a significant amount of wind already. They're a leader in renewable energy generation. This goal and this standard is taking that next step. You know, a lot of clean energy goals have been REC-based and would allow coal plants to continue operating indefinitely, potentially. This takes a step and moves us to a 24/7, 100% renewable goal. I'm hopeful that this will be the new standard for clean energy resolutions and clean energy policy goals for cities in Iowa. Certainly in the metro. I appreciated hearing from Sherry, and I hope our suburban neighbors join us in calling for this, as well as other communities that are served by Mid-American across the state. But I hope it's beyond that, because the climate challenge is beyond that as well. And we need communities across this country to adopt more stringent targets and 24/7, 100% renewable goals going forward. As several of the speakers acknowledged, you know, this is something that is achievable. And oftentimes these things get accomplished, particularly if we put our minds to it and innovate and work to achieve it, they get accomplished for less than initially projected. You know, we heard from Mid-American some what I would characterize as somewhat outlandish numbers at our December 7th work session. And thankfully, I think we saw some better numbers. You know, Mid-American filed just before Christmas a program targeted only towards their large data center customers, but that would provide renewable energy above and beyond what Mid-American is currently providing for only 5.2 cents a kilowatt hour. And that 5.2 cents a kilowatt hour over 20 years will cover the full cost of that project. So I thought that was encouraging news. I was glad to see Mid-American file it. I think that means that their prospects for cheap, cost-effective renewable energy for Des Moines to meet this target in the not too distant future. And I hope we take this and we work with the incoming Biden administration. This goal aligns real well with the Biden Climate Action Plan. They have a 100% nationwide carbon-free electricity goal by 2035 as well. And we want to be a partner with the new administration. And we want to get things done and work with them to make sure that we're going to actually meet this goal. So I'm very excited that we're taking this step. I thank everyone who's been a part of getting us to this point, and I hope the public continues their advocacy. I look forward to implementing this and to taking further steps. And when the time comes, I'd like to move this item, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Josh, thank you. Good comments. Anybody else on council want to make a quick comment here? Seeing none, let's poll the council.
We need to have a move. Were you moving it, Josh, then?
Yeah, Josh did.
Okay.
Yeah.
County,
An enthusiastic yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. I want to give everybody a hand for all the work that was done here, and appreciate the ongoing efforts of everybody. It's not just this kind of work that's going to get this job done. It's all of us doing what we can, where we are with what we have starting today. And together we're going to be better. So let's move on to 32I. It's a COVID relief program for Des Moines restaurants. It's council communication number 21-013. I'm going to quickly turn it over to the manager to quickly give us an update on this and let us know where we're going here.
Thank you, Mayor. And actually, I'm going to ask for some assistance from, I believe, Deputy City Manager Anderson as well on this. This has been a target, a moving target to a degree, as we try to assist our local restaurants in a way that's most impactful and as fair as possible. So if Matt, if you wanted to catch the highlights of the aspect of this program and allow the council maybe to ask questions, I think that might be helpful.
Sure, Scott. This is Matt Anderson, Deputy City Manager. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, Mayor, County, members of the City Council, we in the City Manager's Office and working with the Economic Development and Finance staff recognize the challenges facing our restaurants, particularly our local restaurants, in dealing with the downturn during the pandemic. And we wanted to see if there was any possible avenues we could explore to help. I wish we could do more. I wish we had more resources available to us, but we do have some funding in an account called the Economic Development Enterprise Account. The framework of the program, we have approximately $300,000 available to assist restaurants. We looked for what metric we should use to measure that output per restaurant, and our original thought was modeled after a couple of programs that we found in some other cities that had been successfully implemented to help reimburse the cost of third-party delivery services. A lot of restaurants before the pandemic didn't lean too heavily on third-party delivery, such as Uber Eats or Grubhub, and they found themselves heavily relying on that in the last 9 months. And it's an expensive endeavor, as Councilman Gatto could tell you. However, since the blue letter was submitted and over the last few days, as we started researching it even more, it started to become a little cumbersome, potentially administratively, to use that as our metric for assisting restaurants. And the blue letter has since been changed. I don't think it's been updated online yet, but you council members should have an updated blue letter with what we've modified over the weekend, which primarily sets the metric for assisting the restaurants at the ancillary fees that they incur for delivery materials. So the packaging, any warming ovens, anything related to getting the food to you if you're not going to eat at home. So it's not just delivery; it also covers those costs associated with picking up a meal at the restaurant, whether it was a third-party delivery or not. So the program is going to be retroactive to December 1. We will accept applications beginning at the end of January. The caps that we've put on it are $7,500 per restaurant. If a restaurant management group has more than one location, we've limited that to $15,000 for that one single restaurant group. First come, first serve. We'll administer the program as long as we have funding. We've put a lot of thought into it, and a lot of research, and we think this is the most substantial way that we can distribute some assistance to help our restaurants.
Thanks, Matt.
Connie?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify too. Are we saying, I believe when I read that you have to show that you've got a decrease in business. I'm not
Yes.
thinking that many have, but I just want to make sure that, and what is that percentage? 20% was it?
Yeah, 20% decrease in revenue from the previous year before
Okay.
COVID. Yeah. Shouldn't be a high threshold for most of our restaurants to hit. One thing that I want to point out is we did exclude, one thing that we wanted to do was really highlight the need and the importance for public safety and either delivery or carry out. And so we did exclude restaurants with a drive-through because they already physically have a safe means to get food to their patrons, which was already part of their business model. And so we're really looking to help those restaurants that didn't have that means available before, where that delivery or carry out really wasn't part of their business model to begin with, and they've had to pivot really fast and incur additional expenses without really the ability to raise the price per meal. And so all those additional costs are just eroding into their profit margins.
Mayor County, this is Carl Voss. I would like to move this when the opportunity arises.
I think now's the time for the opportunity to be here. Thank you, Carl.
Well, I know that Joe probably, Joe is pretty fast on moving items, and he probably won't be voting on this one. So this is a rare opportunity to move a motion, for me to move something. So
Thank you so much for doing so. All right. Do you have any further discussion?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank staff for the work that they put in on this, particularly the work in the last few days to remove the third-party delivery service. I talked with a number of small businesses, restaurants in my ward, from the Ingersoll corridor to Court Avenue to Western Gateway. They all had concern about the third-party delivery piece of this. This is a way to encourage businesses to do the right thing and help folks eat away from the restaurant to the extent possible, and provide them some immediate relief there. And these dollars are all going to stay in our community and hopefully help strengthen these restaurants for the long run. There are things that I would also consider or think we might want to consider in the future. I know, for example, one thing that came up was I was talking with restaurants. The partnership did some work to get restaurants those heaters for outside eating. Some restaurants are still using those, and I think they run on propane, and that's another additional expense for outdoor eating. And that might be something we consider if we find that the supply piece is not exhausting our dollars, although I hope it does. But again, I appreciate staff working to modify this to get this right and to keep as many dollars local and supporting our local businesses as possible. So thanks again. And I support this program.
All right, let's call the question, and I'll ask the clerk to poll the council on the motion by Councilmember Voss.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Abstain.
Your Honor, that is 6 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
I want to thank everybody. That brings us to the end of our agenda for this evening. And I want to wish everybody a safe and healthy new year, and let's all wear a mask. I would like to, before we all leave, burden our city manager just a minute further. We talked about the U.S. Department of Treasury on the rental assistance. There was a lot of the focus that was on the $100,000 to get people through the eviction process through the court system. But there is significantly more money that we are hoping is going to come to us rather expeditiously to begin this program. And could you give us sort of a sense, Scott? It's not $100,000. We're talking about quite a bit more money than that.
Yeah.
Give us an update.
Yeah, just if I could, thank you, Mayor. The magnitude that we're hearing from DC officials is that it should be more in the $6 to $7 million in total treasury funds that would be coming to the city of Des Moines. So those numbers are not finalized by any sense, but the 100,000 was more of the immediate need to get us through the next few weeks with our partners also chipping in. So that was just the very short-term need. We are talking about millions of dollars that will flow through to our residents.
Thanks, Scott.
They need it.
Thank you all. I would move for a adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any dissension? Hearing none.